Welcome back to Bending the Narrative. Each week, we dive into Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series. And while you can find our overall thoughts on this season in our first episode, throughout book one, we will be discussing in further detail how each episode compares to its live action version. So, this episode was not featured in the live action series at all. So, Kate, how does the exclusion of this episode change the live action series?
It changes a lot. We don't even see Aang Firebend at all. We don't see Katara learn how to heal. We don't even know that. At the end, I think they mention it that
Yeah,
she could
she
do
does in the
it
finale. Yeah,
in the
but
finale, but like we don't
prior to
see her
that,
learn it. We
no.
don't see
Yeah,
everybody
and
else
then
learn that she could do that. That's a possibility.
mm-mm.
And
We get
Aang doesn't learn firebending.
it's the same with all the other episodes that are excluded from the live action one for some reason, you know, they had the time. Because again, like we say every segment, it was longer than than
It
book
was
one
longer
was,
than yeah.
which is wild. But it just takes away either lore or character or both. Like you just lose those elements, which are crucial and like what makes the show the show. Like we get less for Admiral Zhao, right? We don't get the fact
Yeah,
that he was like a pupil
a
that
people
was
at all.
just obsessed with fire and power and stuff, which like obviously you could tell that from the way that he's characterized in the show. They do a great job hamming him up as a villain in the live action. I do
Hmm.
admittedly like his character there. Like he's just a great like
He's a good villain,
yeah, he's
and
a
that does
comically
show
like
through. Yeah, that
I'm
does
gonna
come
take
through.
over everything that I can, like, and so you're like, okay, like that's cool, but you lose some of the nuance there. Not that he's like the most nuanced person, but like
Hmm.
it's still nice to get a semblance of like he was a pupil at one point, and
Hmm.
you get to like learn about that kind of, and you
He wasn't
see
just born that way.
yeah,
And
and
yeah.
you see like someone who knew him when he was younger and saw what he was becoming and said like, "Nah, I'm out actually. Like this is not the way to
Hmm.
go." And so like you lose that, which is a bummer. You lose like you were saying, Aang doesn't firebend at all in this season. He doesn't even attempt to. We don't see him do anything with any of the other elements in this
He
season,
doesn't
which is
even
a
want to
huge
bend,
yeah, it's a
but he
huge
flies.
problem. Like it's not it's just sure,
And
I
like I don't
guess
get it. Why are we're taking these out and for what? Like what is it replaced with? It's never replaced with anything that
substantive.
amounts to the same. Yeah, with substance. We never get anything of equal amount. So
Yeah,
I don't know why. Like that's my big question. I'm like, why take it out? Because
like
what are you?
they take it out and then put stuff from later seasons in
And they're
that
like,
you don't
Cabbage Man,
that you like don't really need
Azula.
to like see yeah, which like oh god. Yeah, I mean we get nothing really of value to like replace it with. Like they just throw in things that we get later in the series that we don't need in season one. Like I mean, as I've talked about, I love Azula, but she didn't need to be there. Like there's a reason that
Yeah.
she was in the finale and then in book two, as opposed to like being throughout season one. And
Mhm.
you lose a lot of that by like inserting her and then taking away the other stuff like this episode and the other like 5 or 6 episodes that are just completely axed from this season. Like
That don't need to be there.
yeah, it's just crucial stuff. And like it also you lose any of the nuance with firebending as a concept by taking out this episode. Because like we were talking about earlier, this is the first character that really talks about the nature of firebending besides just like, oh, they can throw fire with their hands
Yeah.
and like use it to print things, which like obviously, but he's really talking about on a more like conceptual level, which is nice. And you just don't get that in the live action version,
Yeah.
which
I
is
feel like he's the first
dumb.
person too to talk about like there's a fear of it and there's this
Hmm.
there can be this evil to it. It almost like even talking about it now, it almost reminds me of like the dark side. Like there's a dark side to it and
Yeah.
but you have to actively lean into it and
Control
like cuz
yourself.
and
Yeah.
control yourself and if you don't do that, if you aren't disciplined, it will take over
Yeah.
you.
It's a very, very like Yoda, like you need patience. You need like you're not ready.
Mhm.
You're being brash and not responsible. And like I can't teach you this because you're not prepared for it in the right ways.
Yeah. It's
Um,
Aang's Yoda moment. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and it's also a very like this is also the first time where we get I'm pretty sure this is the first time anyways where we get the idea that there's a correct order to be learning the elements.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I think it may have been like briefly mentioned or
Mentioned.
referenced, but like I think it's more so that like Aang was starting with waterbending because like they had access to a waterbender through Katara, and so like that's why he's starting there. But like it is supposed to follow and I did some like googling about this to like make sure, and like it's not necessarily a like hard rule that I don't think, but like generally they're supposed to learn.
Traditionally, that's
Yeah,
the
you're
path that
supposed to
they go.
learn the elements like in the Avatar cycle. So
But
like
as we
yeah,
discussed before, Aang is not on a traditional path at all.
yeah,
He's the exception.
yeah, and so like
Mhm,
he's supposed to learn waterbending and then earthbending and then firebending, which like he does eventually
mhm,
do. Like that is the order that he goes in.
mhm,
But so like that's how it's supposed to be done. And so here him trying to like jump out of order, and you have Zhang even like commenting on it, being like, "You're not ready. Like you need to
mhm.
like learning waterbending and then learning earthbending will give you the skills necessary and the understanding necessary to then start learning firebending." And we don't get any of that in the live action one because again, we don't see him even attempt to do anything
You
other
attempt to
than
do anything.
airbend. Like
Yeah.
he
To
just doesn't.
fly?
Yeah, it's just
I'm
not.
still not over that. Sorry.
Which
This is
the showrunners, I'm pretty sure I saw a thing a while back that were like made a comment on that. They were like, he's not flying, he's just falling. Like, and it's like, okay, I guess, yeah.
girl, girl, be for real. Come on.
um, but yeah, he just doesn't even attempt to do anything besides airbending in the show, which is a
It's
choice.
so
And
sad.
it's again, you lose like the we as much as we were kind of joking about how like dramatic and hammed up the moment when he burns Katara is and like all of that stuff, like it's a still pretty crucial part of their characters and like their relationship. It's a very, and especially Aang's relationship to firebending, because then it makes him very reluctant to want to learn it later on
Mm-hmm.
when he needs to and
I
like
like even
has
approach
to.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, like even when Katara, like in this episode, she's like, "Well, you're gonna have to eventually," and like there's no real resolution to that conflict in this episode because it comes up later down the line. But like that's conflict that we don't even get set up in the first place in the live
Yeah.
action season
And
because
that is important. But I guess you can take it out, but now it's boring. Like
yeah,
now I
yeah,
don't
now
care.
it's
Now
just
it's like,
like
okay, he'll just learn firebending now. There's no
yeah, like,
conflict.
and
Why do I even need to watch this?
do we think they'll try to put this into season two? Like like because you could like you can
Mm.
because it's not
Like we
like it's a
could bring him in
super.
later.
Yeah, it's not like there's a super this has to happen before the siege of the Northern Water Tribe. Like it could be in season two where they're on their journeys and they come across this guy and like he
I
tries to learn
guess.
firebending there.
But
But
it
like,
adds to like the rush and that he needs to learn this. He knows now, like he needs to learn it by summer. And
yeah. Well, I mean, again, in the live action one,
but
they don't know
they
about
don't know
that
that
until
yet.
like they're like the only people who know that are
The Marvel's extra
Ozai.
credit scene.
Yeah, at the very end of the finale is Ozai is when we get the ticking clock. Like the gang doesn't even have the ticking clock in the live action one, so like there's not that. And then also I feel like if you there's the problem whenever you like shift stuff around because like they could in theory put it in the middle of season two, but then like season two you need like Toph is like the big
Hmm.
thing there that you need to introduce, and like him learning earthbending and all of that, and then like Appa being taken, which like we'll see how they have to do that, right?
They
But
have
like
to do that. That
I don't know. I mean,
if you
we're
take it
not gonna
out
get
though,
an entire episode focused on Appa. There's no way. One, they're not gonna CGI him
they don't have
for
the
a whole
budget.
episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that, which I understand. Like it's fine. It's one of the best episodes, but like whatever.
It's fine, I guess.
But like, I mean, we're not gonna. I doubt we're gonna get the library because we already saw the owl.
Yeah,
I forget his
Washington.
name. Yeah,
Washington.
we already got him. So
Hmm.
like they're probably not gonna do that. We got what else from season two? Did they shoehorn into this season? Um, like
They should exactly.
because I'm like, well, like again, they now will have the space runtime
Hmm.
wise because there's things that they already put. Like we got
Oh, and I
through
do
like the
forget
cave
in this episode, in the actual the deserter episode
and
in the animated
yeah,
series, we do get the hint of the library. Actually, I forgot to mention that.
we
Speaking of the
do.
library, yeah, because that's how Zhao learns that. Oh wait, no, this is later. This is not in this episode. That's in a later episode. I'm confusing them. These episodes all melt together for me.
No, they do like the yeah.
The finale, yeah,
But yeah, it's like
I
so
take
they
that
will
back.
they will have the runtime, but then I feel like they're just gonna fill it with stuff from book three
From
probably
book
for
three,
some
yeah.
reason. Which like I don't.
Well, like
I get.
they're. Do you think they'll do? Oh, what is it called when they're on the beach?
There's no way they're gonna give us that episode. No way.
I think they will because it's solely because it's a fan favorite.
I mean, I guess, but maybe again,
But they won't. I'm so
it's the
mean. I'm
problem.
like, they won't do it right though.
But this is the problem with like shifting things around so much is I'm like, because yeah, you in theory then like by taking because we got Cave of Two Lovers in the
Hmm.
middle of season 1 as
But
opposed
with
to in book 2, but
Sokka and
like
Katara.
yeah, which is weird. And so you I guess in theory have time in season 2 to put this episode there instead, but then I don't know. That's why I wish I could
Where
see
would it fit? Yeah.
this writer's room at work because it'd
Let
be
us in
real
there.
interesting
Guys, get us in that room. Get
to
us
see
in
like how
that
they're
room.
like blocking things out. Like I want to see those post-it notes on the wall and like be like, oh,
Yeah.
we can move. It's just such a like why'd you mess with it so
Why?
much? Like why'd you
Why?
like you had the blueprint, you have the show, and you just I don't know. It's weird.
You just had to shove it all into one thing. Whatever it was, budget, CGI, just again live action. I like it because it's animated.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine. I mean, it so yeah.
That's again the point is, oh, it's fine.
In summary, they lost a lot by not
In
having
summary,
the
they lost a
second
lot.
episode
Yeah.
in live action, which is
Yeah, we don't
annoying.
get
But
anybody getting burnt, anybody getting hurt by fire, except
we
when
don't
it's
get
a villain
Zhao
doing it. We don't get
backstory.
Aang learning a lesson again. We don't get
Nope.
Katara learning a lesson.
Nope.
We don't get Katara being strong. Nope.
Nope. None
Nope.
of it. You wanted that?
We get Sokka being
Psych.
funny. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's a consistent through line. But yeah, we lose. I
And
mean,
Cabbage Man.
the whole episode is gone, which is a big bummer.
Hey, Aspect listener. Enjoying the show?
Then be sure to subscribe here on The Aspect so you never miss an episode.
And check out more episodes and clips on our playlist here.
Thanks so much for watching, and
Lameo Hot Man.